In the previous video in this series, we looked at the aspects of a tailored jacket and how changing little things like the shoulders, the lapels, can make a big visual impact in the impression that a jacket gives. In this video, we're going to compare those aspects between this jacket and another one from two rather different traditions of tailoring. The English tradition, which is generally smarter, sharper, and the Neapolitan, which is more relaxed and curved and casual. These are, to some extent, the two extremes of different traditions in tailoring, but also the most dominant ones, the ones that people know the best and therefore make the best comparisons. If we run through the different parts of the jacket in the same kind of order as we did in the first video, let's start by looking at the shoulder. On the shoulder here, on the English jacket that we looked at last time, it's relatively wide. There's quite a lot of padding in the shoulder here and a little bit of roping in the top. On the Neapolitan jacket, there's a tiny, tiny amount of padding in the shoulder, really just canvas in there. The jacket is cut a little bit shorter on the shoulder, and you can see there's no roping at all in the very end. It follows directly down into the sleeve. It's this shortness, I think, of the shoulder which is often not appreciated enough in how tailoring looks. That shortness compared with this natural flow is what makes the Neapolitan jacket look much more casual, more relaxed, almost more like knitwear, and therefore goes better with jeans and chinos, etc., whereas an English jacket will often look a little bit out of place. The next thing we looked at last time was the chest of the jacket, and these are both cut very moderately, not particularly close, not particularly far away. The chest is one of those things that doesn't vary hugely between traditions of Neapolitan and English, but it's more dependent on particular tailors within those areas. So, for example, Anderson and Shepherd in the UK might cut a bigger chest, and Panico in Naples might also cut a bigger chest, but others in those areas would cut it quite close. The next thing we looked at last time was the lapel. Now, the lapel is a big difference here. It's natural to look just at the width of the lapel first, and certainly this jacket has a wider lapel than the Catherine Sargent one. However, really the thing that makes the biggest difference is this line of the lapel. Although this lapel is curved and pointing outwards, actually what's happened is it's cut pretty much straight on the body, cut straight all the way up. But when that straight line is folded outwards, it gives this kind of casual roll and curve to it, whereas the lapel on the English suit has a slight belly to it rolling upwards and looks kind of almost sharper and straighter as a result. Around the lapel we also have some other small differences. So this notch, for example, is bigger on the more open and has a bigger collar than on the English version. And this line here, the gorge line, which we mentioned briefly last time, is longer and curved, running downwards, whereas on the English suit it's much straighter. Something else we only mentioned briefly last time as well around the chest was the chest pocket, the outbreast pocket, and again the difference here is very, very marked. You perhaps wouldn't notice this when just thinking about the major changes between the jackets, but as soon as you look at it you notice immediately this is very straight, this is extremely curved, adds to that kind of curved effect of the whole jacket. The next thing we looked at last time was the buttoning point. So this point here where the button is, which really adds a full stop to the top half of the jacket. Now, these aren't that different really, they're both actually pretty low proportionally on jackets. Again, it's the kind of thing that might vary more between tailors in those areas than actually vary between the two traditions. But it's really, as I said before, the curve of the lapel from that waist button that makes the big difference. And the next point on the jacket is very significant, but again, it's the kind of thing you wouldn't necessarily notice until it's pointed out to you. And that is what's sometimes called the four parts below the button here. On the English jacket, this is extremely straight and the opening is quite closed. On the Neapolitan, it's slightly bigger, but importantly, it's just also curved. This line is a really nice natural curve that follows the curve of the lapel as well. That's what makes the jacket look much more relaxed and much more casual. Some people don't like that effect. They think that for a jacket to be more smarter and more flattering, it should really cover more of the trousers. But this kind of effect is what gives that whole Neapolitan look a more relaxed look. Also, you've got the pocket here, the patch pocket. This doesn't have a patch pocket, but again, but even here you can see that the pockets are these are slanted and straight. This kind of curve to a patch pocket on a Neapolitan jacket you would never get on an English one. An English patch pocket would be straighter and also larger. So I think overall you can see that although to somebody who doesn't normally wear tailoring or isn't interested in it, they might look at those jackets and think that apart from the material, the colour, they look fairly similar. But these small differences make this jacket look a lot more relaxed and much more casual than the English one does. In the next video in this series, we're going to look at the particular aspects of a Neapolitan shoulder. For more practical information and reviews of artisans, check out permanentstyle.com, the UK's leading website on craft and classic style.